Hi, my name's Steven. I'm the little brother.
My name's Kevin. I'm the middle brother.
My name's David. I'm the biggest of all the brothers.
This is the Brothers Born podcast. The three of us don't see each other very often, so we decided that this is how we're going to hang out. We hope that y'all like listening. All right, talk to you soon. Welcome back to the Brothers Born podcast. We had a bonus episode with my niece Kali recently because David had some things he had to manage, but David's back now, and we're really excited for
I'm back now.
part 2 of our unlikely throwdowns. Before we get into it, in the spirit of mashups, I wanted to ask if either of you have seen those Uber Eats commercials with Mark Hamill versus Patrick Stewart. Have either of you seen those?
I have not.
I wish I have.
It's pretty funny. You should look them up on YouTube. They're really short. There's one where they're like playing air hockey, and there's another one where they're Mark Hamill has a baseball bat and Patrick Stewart has a what's it's kind of like baseball. It's in England. What's that sport? Cricket. Yeah, he has a cricket bat, and they just kind of throw down with one another. It's pretty interesting. So after this is over, y'all should look them up. It gave me a good chuckle. But
That would be perfect for our series.
yeah, seriously, like Luke Skywalker, Patrick Stewart, Captain Picard. Well, I want to have y'all introduce your characters, and kind of like last time, kind of introduce them like they're coming into the ring, so to speak. And then at the end, see if the other person can guess who they are. I'm pretty sure you guys will be able to guess these ones, but just let's do it anyway. So let's start with David. Since you won last time, why don't you introduce your character first?
I should be the returning champ, so I should get to go second.
Okay, good call. Kevin, introduce your character first.
Introduce my character first. All right, let me bring up my notes here real quick. Okay, so my character's birthday is 9 July 1981. His place of birth is Japan, of course. And he has, just give you kind of a background on what some of his previous occupations were. He's been a carpenter, a fighter, a boxing referee, a questionable doctor, a painter, a pro athlete, both an Olympian, golfer, baseball player, soccer player, tennis player. He's also been a professional board game player of all things. And, of course, his most famous role is that of a plumber. I'm, of course, talking about Mario.
Dude, I told you, Steven. I told you that was the one.
All right.
You said it wasn't.
Go ahead. It was yours.
I didn't think about having the theme song. That tops it right there. Points for Kevin. All right. I'm going to start with a quote. This might give you a hint. I've always enjoyed studying a new tongue. Another one. Everybody has a hobby. What's yours? Resurrection. My character, if you could think of someone who is, I guess all these characters, mine is in a human form. And probably overall, he is tough to match. He drives cars very well. He has so many gadgets, you don't even know where to start. He's very smooth with the ladies. In fact, usually he's so smooth with them, he can get them to join his side, even when they're against him to begin with. And very dapper. No matter where or when, I got you on style because this guy's always dressed up, ready to go for whatever the occasion may be, but especially for like a formal party, he's looking fly every time. He's pretty much timeless. The one I'm going to use was born in 1968, April 13th, 1968. So there you go. Any ideas?
Oh, James Bond, obviously.
Yeah.
So,
I thought you'd answer quicker, so I thought you didn't know because you.
I was waiting for you to finish your intro. So James Bond versus Mario. All right.
So this is going to be. I mean, I don't know if these two have ever been matched against each other before. So
I can honestly say I doubt it.
I'm very curious to see what y'all have come up with, and as far as like who I think is a cool character, it's hard for me to make that decision. I like them both for different reasons, but hopefully that one of you can convince me why the other one is a better contender than the other one. So I kind of gave you some ideas of some things to think about in your in your research, but
Yeah,
I'll
I
just
might
let
not
y'all.
have followed those exactly,
It's
but I
totally
tried to
fine.
a little bit.
Y'all just go for it. Whoever wants to start, go ahead.
Kevin, I think you should start. Go for it. I'll
All
let
right.
you handle it this time. So I think we should do what like we did before. Give me like a, run through his background or whatever. I'll run through my background, then we can kind of go like back and forth, toe to toe, whatnot, if that works with you guys.
Yeah, it's perfect.
Okay.
All right. It occurred to me that I'm only a year younger than Mario. Anyway, so first of all, he might not be the secret spy hero of Earth like James Bond is, because he's an international, of course. But Mario can one up that in the fact that he is the hero of the Mushroom Kingdom.
Can we just take a moment and comment on the fact that you said he can one up that? That was very, very punny. Well said.
And
Well,
I'm
of
going down.
course.
I'm going down quick today so far.
And one up is one of the reasons why he can defeat. It's one of the reasons why he could defeat James Bond in a fight, because James Bond doesn't have one ups.
Oh, he does. Just
Now,
not
now being born in Japan, of course, if you want to look at that, he's got actually that has nothing to do with anything. I just want to mention he's born in Japan, honestly, but he's also Italian. Now, as occupations go, he's a plumber. James Bond's not a plumber, so if your sewer gets backed up, James Bond can't help you out on that one. Only Mario can.
James Bond's laid plenty of pipe though. Go ahead.
That's true. That's true. But the problem with James Bond is, he's kind of all around. He can't commit. Mario's so committed to his woman, Princess Peach, that he is willing to go great lengths to include fighting giant, fire-breathing dinosaur turtles.
Right. I'm sorry to interrupt. You can plead
Just to rescue his woman, because she means that much to him. He puts his life in danger constantly, just so he can keep his woman safe. So what's James Bond got on that? Nothing. He gets his woman, his wit ladies. He's like one and done. Just move on to the next one. Was he like 3 women per movie sometimes? Come on, man. He can't keep committed, and Mario's committed, so he's a more stand-up guy.
Okay, I'll debate that later. Keep telling me the rest of your background here. I didn't mean to interrupt.
Well, I kind of want to get into some of his abilities, but I feel like go ahead and let you counterpoint some James Bond stuff real quick.
All right, let me just give you. A lot of my research comes within the background, so I'll just kind of go through what I have. We know James Bond's been around for a long time, since 1953, I believe, is when Ian Fleming came up with the character, sometime in the early 50s. And there's been several reboots over the years. Since my favorite is the Daniel Craig, just because I like that type of movie, I'm going to use his version of James Bond. His parents, Andrew Bond and Monique Bond, they lived with him until they passed away, I believe, when he was about age 11, and his parents died in a tragic climbing accident. I can't remember the name of the peak, but they're mountain climbing, and they both passed away. So then James Bond, they sent him to their family estate, which was called the Skyfall Lodge, which I was not aware of. I know one of the movies later was called Skyfall, but Skyfall Lodge. His education, I don't know how much education Mario had, honestly, probably none. But here's James Bond's. He attended Eton College because his father forced him to. He did get expelled from there because he violated curfew and had some trouble with some of the maids. Whatever that means, I don't know. But then he went to Fetlos College, which is his father's alma mater. While he was there, he became a boxer. He was good. He learned judo. He climbed. He skied. So you're starting to get his training here, even at the university level.
So he trained as a boxer as well. So that's an area that Mario and James Bond
that's true.
have
I didn't
crossed
think
somewhere
about
along the
that.
line.
That's a stretch, but you're right. They both did. You're right.
They actually box in the ring. That'd be pretty funny.
Oh, I wish we'd have thought about that sooner. You go round for round. But there's lots of tragedy in young Bond's life. I already talked about his parents dying. He had his skiing instructor Hans Oberhauser, also became like his second father to him, and this dude disappeared mysteriously. So Bond, a lot of times he would lose those he was close to in the beginning, but this overall it shapes who he becomes as he grows into the spy that he is. He also he went on an expedition one time where he climbed the very mountain that his parents died from. Savage. That is awesome. He did that. He proved that he could do it. Now, going on with his education, he graduated at 17. Then he went to the Royal Naval College. He excelled in all areas except respecting his leaders. He wasn't very good at that all the time. But while he's at the Naval College, he lost his one other close relative that was surviving. That was his aunt, Charmaine Boyd, I believe her name was. After he was done at the Naval College, he had plenty of military service. He became an intelligence officer. He transferred to submarine brigade later. He felt like he wasn't being challenged there, so he volunteered for secret service stuff. He was recognized for his mental quickness, his confidence, his natural abilities. He started studying all kinds of things, underwater, aquatic. He always bested his commanding officers wherever he was. He became a paratrooper later. He saved a fellow paratrooper's life right in the middle of a jump one time. He earned placement in the 030 Special Forces later, where he learned how to become a pilot of helicopters, jets, hovercrafts, marine assault vehicles. He learned how to drive armored vehicles, the whole shebang. If it was there, he could drive it. So 3 years as a 030, he rose to the rank of lieutenant commander. He served everywhere: Iraq, Somalia, Iran, Libya, Bosnia. And in Bosnia, he saved 100 dudes, 100 people. So during all this time, he's continuing to advance in all areas, like all areas. But what's good about him too is he's always casual throughout this whole time. But the one weakness I said earlier is he doesn't always follow protocol, which Mario, I'm not really sure. Most of the time, I guess he does follow protocol. He does what the Toad says for him to do. After a while, he went to RNR Defense Intelligence Training. He was there for a while, and he got pretty much the rest of his training there. And while he was there, he also attended Oxford and Cambridge, of all places, and he learned his first Asian languages as well as other languages. And it's from there that he was recruited to be an MI6 at the age of 30. In MI6, he finished his training in only 8 weeks, and we all know where it goes from there. So his training led up to him having all these different skills, which I'll get into more as we debate back and forth. But pretty much anything a spy should be able to do, he does it better than the rest of them.
I mean, I gotta say, you're talking a lot about James Bond, but you're really not saying anything because honestly, that doesn't tell me much.
That was his background. But go ahead.
That doesn't tell me much about his skills. Like, how could he defeat Mario? And the answer is he can't. First of all, Mario, yeah, okay, he can climb mountains, cool. Mario can climb mountains too. Mario, not only that, he can jump on like climb on very small areas of space. Jump from one to the other. And then on top of that, flying, Mario doesn't even need a helicopter to fly. All he needs is a leaf, man. That's all he needs. So
it's more of a glide, but yeah.
To fly, he doesn't need a leaf. He needs the whole suit. But
that's true. He does need the whole suit
and that P wing. But go ahead.
I'm just saying, like anything James Bond can do, Mario can do better.
Okay,
obviously.
how many times have you seen James Bond hanging off a ledge? Lots, right? I mean, he doesn't have little pieces of land to jump on because he lives in Earth. Hello, but he does have pretty good skills as far as. I mean, he was a climber. He climbed the very mountain that his parents died on. So, I mean, you're right. Mario's a little bit agile, and even with his big plumber physique. But James Bond can grab onto a ledge, pull himself up. I think he can hang there.
Mario doesn't need to pull himself up on a ledge. He just jumps onto it. And if James Bond fell, he would plummet to his death.
Okay, but what about this? When Mario jumps, does James Bond do that? Mario can't sneak up on his enemies, can he?
He doesn't need to because he's so beast. Besides, unlike James Bond, with the exception of Mario 64, as far as I'm aware, as Stephen pointed out to me earlier.
Stephen, you're giving him tips and advice?
No.
Okay. I just want to let the records.
Aside from Mario 64,
this might be an unfair advantage. Go ahead.
Let me clarify. It's actually any of the newer Mario games when he falls.
You're not. This isn't your battle, Steven. Come on.
All right, fine. All right. Despite that, in the older Mario games, he could fall from any height and not get hurt as long as he had a bottom, which is, I think, kind of a weird ability. Like, you only die when you fall off of something if there's nowhere to land. That's kind of weird. But in the older Mario games, he could fall from any distance and be perfectly fine. James Bond doesn't got that.
But does James Bond need that ability with all his gadgets? Plus he's a paratrooper. He probably always has a parachute tucked away somewhere in his watch or in his belt.
Yeah, but the point is he needs a parachute. Mario doesn't. And talking about gadgets, oh, James Bond, oh, I got gadgets. Cool. Yeah, he needs gadgets to accomplish his mission. Does Mario need gadgets? No. All he needs is a question mark block.
Dude, I'm sorry, but can you beat any Mario? Listen, can you beat any Mario game when you're mini tiny Mario? Can you?
No, but those aren't
No,
gadgets.
hold on. You need a mushroom. You need a leaf. You mentioned a leaf earlier. I mean, that's a gadget. Of course, maybe James Bond needs a little more than a leaf, but they're both gadgets. If Mario wants to shoot fire, he needs to eat a flower. James Bond, he can shoot fire too with one of his tools that he had. I was going to share later, but I'll just kind of share it now real quick. It was a flamethrower, but it was disguised as a bagpipe, set of bagpipes. So he's had statue flamethrowers. He can shoot flames too.
So
I mean, they both
Yeah,
need
really quick,
gadgets.
I just
Well,
want to point
let's-
out how funny it is that in order for either of these guys to create fire, I mean, a bagpipe, like what? A flower, you have to eat flowers. You can like, I don't know. This is really funny to me. I wish I could produce fire with either of those things.
Let me talk about that for a minute, though. Bagpipes are pretty cumbersome. And, he has to carry it around to use it. Mario, he just picks up a flower and eats it, and you can shoot fire. I mean, that's way more convenient, right?
True, I guess. But let me just. Do you want to talk about gadgets real quick, or do you have more? Because I can talk about gadgets real quick.
Oh, go ahead.
I mean, just over the years, it's innumerable. I would be here all day naming gadgets that Bond uses, which I know you're going to argue this wasn't really Bond's creation. It was Q's creation. But Bond had to know how to use all these things at the heat of the moment very quickly. But he had things over the years. And I know I said I'd focus on Daniel Craig, but for the gadgets, I'm going to go all around because Daniel Craig didn't really have. He has more realistic gadgets, I think. But some of the other Bond gadgets, we have dagger shoes. We have a duck that he wears on top of his head while he's wearing a wetsuit, so people think he's a duck. He takes Oddjob's hat, flings it everywhere, cuts statues in half. He gives these girls that he's with lipstick grenades, shooting cigarettes. He smokes a cigarette, shoots. Fake fingerprints. That's beyond his time. Mario. He doesn't. I guess he doesn't. What does he know about fake fingerprints? He has a ski pole that turns to a rifle, so he's going skiing. Oh, there's a bad guy. Take my pole, blast him. Keep going skiing. Finish what I was doing. So he's got that bagpipe flamethrower. So many others. He's got glasses that he can do several things with.
I do like the glasses. Those are cool.
Yeah, and this is one thing I looked up. He's got a yo-yo, right? Is it a yo-yo normal though? No, it's a saw blade. So that's just some of the several gadgets he can use.
So
Okay,
I want to
Mario's
phone in on one of those real quick.
Mario's got a leaf, a flower, a suit with a hammer brother on it, a raccoon suit, whatever. But go ahead, Steven. Sorry.
So just can you talk about that duck costume really quick?
That is one of the older. That's one of the older Bond movies.
It's from Goldfinger, I believe.
Yeah, I think so too.
That's incredible.
But like he's hovering under the water, right? And actually, I don't even know why he needs it really, other than if I remember right, it might have like a periscope in it, maybe. I'm not sure, but he's just got a duck on his head, so it just looks like the duck's floating there. But he's in the water, sneaking up on someone who looks like a duck. So
that's a good segue because I want to talk about water for a second. So, James Bond, of course, when he's swimming, he's got his duck on his head for some reason, but he has a wetsuit, right? And he's got like like a scuba diving gear. Mario can swim underwater for an indefinite period of time and not drown.
Until in the older
He can breathe underwater like a fish, dude. And while he's doing that, he's avoiding electric squids, fish that just come around, run into him randomly. Spikes.
Bubbles. Yeah, I guess. Well,
Yeah, and if we're focusing on old Mario again, though, I've been playing the new Mario game. It's a re-release of 64, Sunshine, and Galaxy on the Switch, and he does get hurt in the water in the new ones. So, but
that's correct.
That's true. But I'll give Kevin. I will give Kevin that because I did pull on. I was focusing on new Bond, but I have pulled a little bit on the old Bond. So
yeah, that's fair enough. Equal exchange. Just really quick. I looked up ridiculous Bond gadgets, and there's one other one I just wanted to. I think it's funny. I see a boombox rocket launcher.
Oh, I saw that one.
And that sounds just amazing to me. I don't know in what situation you'd need that, but
Why wouldn't you need that?
It's pretty humorous, so I wanted to bring it up. All right, continue your discussion.
Mario for real is beast mode. I mean, talking about like gadgets and stuff. Mario doesn't really have gadgets per se. He just eats things and it gives him abilities. Or one thing that I find interesting is he takes on the attributes of any sort of costume that he wears, which I know sounds kind of weird. But like, he puts on a frog costume. He can jump like
Oh, I
better.
forgot about the frog. Oh.
Or he puts on a bee costume. He can fly around and jump. He puts on a cat costume. He can climb up walls and stuff.
Yeah, but that's kind of weird. A dude wearing a cat costume.
What?
Go ahead.
Like that's any weirder than wearing a duck on your head.
It was for covert operations.
I mean, any costume he wears, or if he eats a mushroom, he gets big. Eats a flower, he gets
Yeah.
shoot fire.
Does he really get big, or is just his mind taking him on a journey because he's a drug addict?
That's a good question. Another one I want to mention is when he eats a star, which I don't know why this is the case, but he eats a star, he becomes invincible for a period of time. You can't get with that. You can't defeat that.
Oh man, that's true.
Also,
well, hold on though. All James Bond has to do though is avoid him for 15 seconds, if that. And James Bond can do that. He'll put on his duck suit. Mario won't even see him. 15 seconds.
I want to see Mario in a duck suit. That'd be awesome. And Mario's got fighting skills. Mario's got some fighting skills because if you look at it, you took it like Super Smash Brothers, for example. Mario's fought Samus, he's fought Link, he's fought Ganondorf, he's fought Cloud, he's fought the guy from Castlevania.
Do I even need to begin to talk about James Bond's villains? I hope not, because I didn't study them that much. But there's a lot of cool ones.
I'm just saying Mario can defeat a lot of crazy villains who are. He's also got super strength. If you look at some of the later games, he's taking on Bowser. He can pick him up and throw him and stuff. Bowser's easily like 20 times Mario's size.
Again, how about this though? Like, as much as he hits his head on blocks to get coins for some reason, like, don't you think that's messed with his brain? And maybe all this is just his perception, and maybe he's just some fat plumber fixing somebody's sink.
First of all, that's awesome because all he has to do is hit like a brick, and then a coin comes out.
Not if he's small though. Not if he's small. Oh wait, if he's small. It comes out if he's small. It just doesn't explode.
Yeah. So if he's ever short on cash, hey man, it's cool. Whatever. Just hit a brick wall a couple times. He's got some money.
But it's the same thing. He has to know exactly which brick it is though, and sometimes that takes half the level, and then your timer's gone. But go ahead.
He does have a timer. That is a disadvantage. But he doesn't hit him with his head. He actually hits him with his fist.
Okay, you're all right. Okay.
And then like he doesn't necessarily need gadgets anyways, because all you see is find a turtle, just stomp on that turtle, throw the turtle shell, and suddenly it's a weapon.
If he touches the turtle, he's done. If he jumps on it, he's good.
Not if he's big, because then he just gets small, which makes him more mobile and a more difficult target for James Bond to shoot. And if James Bond does manage to shoot him,
James Bond has dagger boots, man. He'll shoot that dagger.
But if he does take out Mario with his dagger boots, for example, then whatever. Mario just goes down and then he comes back with his next life. He can have up to 100 lives at a time. Also, when it comes to navigation, like James Bond being a super spy, military intelligence, all that stuff like that. Imagine he's probably good at navigating, right? Probably knows how to get himself around. So is Mario.
Yeah.
At a whole new level. He's this great plumber, and he knows all the complex sewage network pipes of any place he goes. So all he has to do is jump in one pipe, and he can pump up another pipe anywhere, which is pretty amazing if you think about it, because that's a lot of maneuvering around.
That's true. But James Bond also has a knowledge of, the whole world. But I know you're going to say Mario goes to 8 worlds in a game. But James Bond, he knows his way around Europe, Africa, Asia, America, pretty much everywhere. So he doesn't have a pipe that he can just somehow magically, I'm going to go to Germany today. But he has enough resources where he can take a plane, he can take a boat, he can probably, like a submarine. He's been in the submarine corps too. So, I mean, travel-wise, I guess Mario can do it more instantly. But James Bond still can get around as much as he needs to for the job he does. So
that's true, but it's that instantly thing that matters here. Although I'm curious, like, can you guys imagine James Bond in a Mushroom Kingdom?
Oh, dude. Dude, he'd hook up with Peach, Daisy, and Luma, or that whoever the girl is.
Toadette?
Yeah, Toadette. I'm trying to think of what suave things he would say to them.
Hey, speaking of, all right, we'll go to the women part of it too much. Now, I will have to say I don't agree with James Bond's, what's the word here? His morals when it comes to women all the time. But when it comes to women, he's able to. He gets the information he needs from them. They become his allies because he's so suave. Like no matter where James Bond goes, he's got the tux on. He looks like he's barely been. I mean, it might be a little dirty, but then he just brushes off as clean, and he max to the ladies. So, as far as that goes, like, and he finds unlikely allies all the time in people that were his enemies. So, and yes, he would hook up with all of those Mario characters. Would Mario hook up with Christmas Jones or Plenty O'Toole or
No, what? See, the thing is though, Mario's a one-woman man, and I respect that. But I will have to say that you are right. Yeah, he doesn't do a very good job of making allies of previous enemies because, I mean, he doesn't really have a whole lot of. I mean, his enemies are a little weird because he's got Bowser, but really he's just like it's always Bowser. You know, you think by now he'd be able to defeat him from good. You know, so I'll give you that. I'll give you that on Mario. Although there's this whole internet theory going around that Bowser and Peach are actually an item, and that they're just like you know like
Like
kind
here he
of.
comes again.
Well, anyways, I'm not gonna get into it, but don't look it up. It gets kind of weird.
the later James Bond, he's more of a one-woman man. Unfortunately, his girlfriend met a tragic end, and that's really what's, like I said, he's been through a lot of tragedy. So he's a little bit better than he was in that regard than before. He tried to be a one-woman man, but they just wouldn't let him.
And I will say that Daniel Craig Bond is less of a womanizer than the older ones.
Yeah.
I mean, he's still Bond, but I feel like it's
right.
not as much as it was back in Sean Connery or Roger Moore days, for sure.
Yeah, but has he ever fought a giant gorilla? Answer: No, he has not.
Yeah, but Odd Job.
Yeah, you got a point.
And the guy with the cat, that I can't remember his name.
Blofeld?
Yes. And Odd Job.
Knick-knack.
Right.
Knick-knack.
Right. He hasn't fought a giant.
Or Jaws.
You remember when the three of us would play James Bond Nightfire like late into the night, and I'd fall asleep and he'd just keep shooting me,
and
getting lots of points.
You still beat us somehow. But anyways, I know we have to go soon, but cars. We talked about cars real quick.
Touch on cars briefly. Yeah.
James Bond. He knows how to drive a car, dude. He makes it do whatever he needs it to do. He takes it wherever he wants. Of course, he destroys all of them. But he's had BMWs, Rolls-Royce, Aston Martins, Alfa Romeos, Jaguars, Saabs, every car you can think of that rich, awesome people drive. And he had them decked out, and he still found a way to, I mean, he accomplishes a mission with them, then he gets rid of them. He doesn't grow an attachment to him, gets rid of them. But he knows how to drive a car. I understand you're going to bring up the Mario Kart thing, cool. But I believe that if James Bond was in the Mario Kart game, he could hang with Luigi and Mario and all those guys because he knows how to drive a car, and he's had plenty of experience driving these fancy cars.
You have a point. And Mario also, as we know, he's the one with the go-kart. He can drive a car too. But he doesn't have his decked out with all these fancy gadgets. You know what? He doesn't need to. He just picks up a turtle shell, throws it, and it takes out the car in front of him. And that blue shell, what about that blue shell? You guys know what I'm talking about with the spikes on it?
I know it too well.
The death sentence that you're in first place.
Death sentence right there. Or the
when I see my kids whipping that thing out, I'm like, oh man.
Or the what's it? The lightning bolt, where it makes it so everybody turns small and like.
So he does need gadgets to win the race, is what you're saying.
Yeah, well, I guess a point, but it's not, guys. They're not.
No, it's not about that. It's just about how he uses his resources. And Mario's got gadgets, he uses them. James Bond knows how to use his too. I mean, you got to have some resources.
No, I'm picturing James Bond in a go-kart. It's amazing.
So I was picturing James Bond in like a really nice BMW with 3 green shells rotating around him. But all right.
Well, let me give you my conclusion, just because you know how I like to give the quotes, right? So let me just give you a couple of fun quotes. Fritz Oberhauser says, "Where did you come from?" in the movie Spectre. James Bond. Why did you come? Sorry, I'm in worse lighting now. Why did you come? I came here to kill you. James Bond, just so much confidence, he knows he's going to kill the guy. Here's another thing. But he didn't kill him. James Bond is, okay, James Bond's also a gentleman. Listen to this. Be polite, be courteous, show professionalism, and have a plan to kill everyone in the room. A martini, shaken, not stirred. Hi, I'm Plenty. But of course you are. So he always knows exactly what to say. He is always polite, he's always confident, and he's ready to throw down at a moment's notice. Mario, he's got to run for a little bit. I guess he's ready to throw down at a moment's notice, but James Bond, wherever he is, throw down. There we go.
Kevin, last time you did this to me, so I'm going to do it to you. Give me a good Mario quote.
It's a Mario.
That's about it.
That is pretty much it. But he doesn't need to say. He's a man of little words because he doesn't need to say a whole lot. He just has to show up, save the princess, throw some turtle shells around, jump on some heads.
Here's how it's. That's what he sounds like in the old Nintendo Marios. The princess is in another cast.
I'm just saying, let him jump on James Bond's head and see what happens.
All right. In the interest
James
of
Bond
time,
has a duck on his head. Yeah, we have to go.
I'm going to this has been tough for me. I like both these characters for different reasons. I like James Bond because I have fond memories watching those movies with you guys as well as with Dad. I also have fond memories of playing Mario with the two of you growing up. And I'm playing Mario now. I still play it. Yesterday I was playing it. I think, let's talk in terms of language and being suave. James Bond does have it all over Mario. James Bond's got a lot of swagger. He has lots of wit, and he can say a lot of really nice, cool things. And he knows lots of languages. All Mario has is "It's a me, Mario." And if you let him fall asleep in Mario 64, he says "ravioli." That's
so James Bond knows about good ravioli too. But, sorry.
So I do think I'm gonna give points to James Bond there for sure. I also think James Bond is probably a little more educated and has more resources available to him to help him with this cause, such as like MI6, MQ, the other 00 agents. He has a lot more available to him.
Mario don't need no resources.
Now, Mario, he has Luigi.
Hey, every princess gives him a little token, but go ahead. Sorry.
The Toads, and maybe a couple other friends and allies along the way, but he doesn't have nearly as much resources. Like you said, he may not need them, but
he does have Yoshi though.
Yeah, he does have Yoshi. As far as experience, I mean, they've both done a lot of things. We established they both have been boxers. That's like one thing that is similar between the two of them. Mario has a lot of experience. James Bond has a lot of experience, and I think their experience is relevant to the worlds that they live in. So that's pretty on par. But I have to say, as much as I love James Bond, I think the winner here is Super Mario, because not only does he
Why?
he can jump on people and they're done, but he can come back again and again and again and again. Now, while James Bond, he's less likely to get injured, to die because he's got so much skills. But Mario, I think he has that ability to come back again, and I think that kind of makes him a winner.
That is a trump card there, I'll have to admit. But in the video game world, I'm sure there's a way to get James Bond to have unlimited lives too. But I'll bow out graciously. Okay. Kevin did have some good arguments, and I knew from the get-go when he had that theme song playing, and I didn't think about doing that because James Bond's song is iconic too, but I knew I would be in a little bit of a rough battle when I heard that. So.
Right, so I sent you all the ones that are left over, David. Go ahead and pick some randomly and text it to me and text it to Kevin.
On. We're going to do this while I okay, there's one I remember that I forgot. Okay, here's what I'm going to do. Give me a number between 1 and 10, Steven.
4.
Do it quick. We got 2 minutes.
4. Excuse me.
Okay, Kevin, give me one between 1 and 10.
7.
Okay. Got it. All right. Hold on a second here.
I see the dots you're texting me.
Okay. There's yours, Steven. Kevin, I got to get your email up real quick.
Oh, you're sending it via email?
Oh, no, text. I just got to get your text up. Here we go.
Oh, man. I don't know anything about this person. All right. Hurry. We have less than a minute.
I know. There we go. That one's probably the spelling, maybe. I don't know. But,
oh, snap. All right. I got to do some research on that one, but I'm feeling good about it.
All right, guys. Well, until next time, good job, both of you.
All right. Good job, you. It was nice to do another round. Next week's match should be interesting. It'll be interesting.
All right.
We'll take care of it next time then, I guess. Cool.
See you guys.
All right. Have a good one.
All right.